How did you guys link up?
Yo, that's a funny story, man. I met Sean actually one day out. Me and my brother Chase, we were shopping in the city, and we just like bumped into this random lady, and she was just like, "Yo, I like your sneakers." I'm like, thanks or whatever. So we just were conversating. We were online, we were waiting, we were conversating, and she asked me what I did. I told her I was a rap music producer, and she told me she had a friend that she was meeting with that same day, who knows someone that's in the music. So I was like, all right, that's dope. So we're waiting online. And a friend comes, and I was talking to a friend, and through that, she was telling me about the artist that she's managing, and it happened to end up being Sean Scott, which was kind of crazy. So we kind of just like met through this weird, intertwined shopping, fashion experience. Yeah. So we connected. We connected actually with someone by the name of Ted. Shout out Ted. Ted is an ill dude. He came to one of my events, he brought Sean with him, and from there it was just like history. You could even,
Yeah.
put a little spin on that.
Like, conversating at the event and everything, man, we automatically clicked right then and there. And then after the event, we linked up to go to the studio and listen to music, and I let him hear some of my shit, and he played his tracks. Like, we was like, all right, let's get to work.
Some fire in that session. That first session was crazy.
Yeah, that session was crazy, man. Like, the stuff played had me like, damn, I gotta step it up now. Okay, it's time for me to get this work, and then, all right, let's do it. And from there on, that got us to right here. So, yeah.
We haven't even known each other a year yet.
Yeah, it hasn't been a year.
Like, all this that we talking about was in the past, couple months. So
yeah, man.
That's the timeline.
As a producer and hip hop artist, what are your inspirations?
For me personally, I draw my inspirations from a lot of different things. When it comes to recording music, a lot of my inspiration comes from, production. I've worked with a lot of producers, No Name, one of them, currently, and when he gives me fire, I swear to God, it gets the best out of me, man.
Facts. And be some real fire.
It has me in a whole nother atmosphere, a whole nother wave, a whole nother vibe, and shit happens, magic happens.
Facts. I mean, when it comes to me, I'm not really the type of dude to listen to radio much, but there's a few dudes who I'm feeling in the industry who I think are dope. But I really mainly draw inspiration from the people who I work with, like Sean. Shout out to a few of the other producers that I'm working with, Bangalore. Shout out Sino. Shout out the artists that I'm working with in New York. We trying to do something special out here. I'm really inspired by these dudes. A lot of people don't realize, man. A lot of people speak to me from New York and they like, yo, you're a New York producer. And they automatically think it's like boom bap, 90s, old school rap that's going on. But, there's a whole new sound that's going on in New York, New Jersey especially, that I think, a lot of people really need to hear. And, hopefully through what we doing with this project, and the upcoming projects that we have, people get to hear the real New York, the new talent from the fresh young kids that's coming up out here.
Nice. What made you guys want to collab?
We was just in the studio. We was in the studio a lot recently. Like I said, we met recently, like a few months ago. So we kind of been in the studio that entire time period almost.
Yeah.
Every couple of weeks, maybe even sometimes every week. And Sean was working on his own solo project, which I heard, and I was like, yo, this is dope. This is amazing. I kind of just wanted to, send him some beats and get on it. But through us just being in the studio so much and him just being around, me being around him, the energy, the vibe, me just showing him new beats, playing new things for him, we just kind of came up with the idea like, yo, we should just drop something, and it will be good because it will build up to his solo project, and it'll also be able to help me get out there as a producer as well.
And on top of that, having someone like No Name who pays attention to how a specific artist likes to work, it makes recording and writing music a whole lot easier. He's able to find your sound. You know what I mean? And that's a big key of this shit, man. That's what also made me want to collab with him. You know what I mean? Like he was able to. He knows what I fucks with. He knows, man.
Definitely.
Even when he's just creating shit off the fly in the studio, right then and there, that second, he's like, yo, Scott, you fuck with this? Just like that, and I'm like, yo, this is hard. Like, you know what I mean? And we get to it. I'm writing some shit on the spot right there, and that's how this collab, in essence, came about.
So, how did you guys come up with the idea for your EP? No label, no cosign.
I mean, I feel like that just speaks for itself. You know, we doing it on our own. We putting up our own money. We doing it without a label. We building our own fan base. We doing our own marketing. We managing our own, you know, situations from publishing, you know, to whatever, however we're gonna do the, you know, from the graphic design to the videos. Everything we're pretty much doing on our own. So that's kind of, you know, and it kind of came from also talks that me and Sean just had about, you know, do we need a label? Should we do it independent? You know, and at the end of the day, for anyone that's watching this who has any sort of concerns about that, you just gotta understand that right now we kind of like in a whole new wave of rap music. You know, you gotta understand like this, because of technology, because of the internet, because of social media, you now have the platform, which a lot of rappers who came before you didn't have. You know, they didn't have the ability to hop on Instagram or Twitter and reach out and connect with somebody from a different country. They didn't have the opportunity to collaborate, send files, you know, back and forth in a matter of minutes. You know, they didn't have the opportunity to do their own advertising. I mean, if you wanted to advertise an album like in the 90s, that shit was super expensive. You know, now everything, because of technology, everything's more affordable. You have a lot more opportunities and chances to do it on your own. So, you know, this is our, you know, way of kind of just showing people that in an actual physical form with the project and a product. So that's just my take on that.
How do you guys feel about the state of New York?
You can pop that off. You a rapper, you definitely gotta, you know, they want to hear your opinion on it.
Speaking from a rapper perspective, and coming from New York City, man, I think right now New York is in limbo, for lack of a better word. You know, we in limbo right now, and it's really up to the newer artists, such as myself, to really spearhead and get us on the right direction. We got to carry that torch, and we're the ones responsible for us, meaning New York, for getting New York back to where it needs to be. You know what I mean? So, shit, that shit is all about the work ethic that New York artists put in. You know, every other city's working hard. They all supporting each other. We got to start doing that, man.
Facts.
Like, I remember No Name saying earlier, you know, the concept of music being community driven and community based. That shit, it was big for hip hop in New York City, in New York, in the early '90s and going back to the '80s. You know, that shit, community driven. Everybody was fucking with each other. You know, matter of fact, good example. Craig Mack, rest in peace. The remix had LL,
had all the artists on
Biggie,
it,
had everybody on it.
Yeah.
Yo, I don't see that being done anymore. Like, I don't see, not in New York. You know, I don't really see that no more, man. And it's gonna get back to it. I know it is, because it has to. And it's gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright. New York's gonna be straight. We're gonna be straight. We always will.
Yeah, man, I agree. Like what Sean said, you know, about the whole communal aspect. You know, you go to other parts of the world, even other parts of, you know, America, from Atlanta to Miami, or even if you go to Canada, Toronto, you know, it's a very communal aspect. A lot of people who know New York know, you know, it's a city, the culture, it's about money, it's about power. You know, at the end of the day, that's always been the undertone in New York. It's always been about how you can help yourself and get to the top, whether you got to step on somebody's neck, whether you got to punch somebody in the face. You know, it's always been about how can I get to the top, you know, and win. That's why even you see some New York artists, you know, I ain't gonna say no names, I'm pretty sure you guys know who they are, you know, beefing about I'm the king of New York or I'm the #1 rapper from New York. It's like, you know, there's enough space for everybody to win, and there's enough money out there for everybody to get. So, you know, that whole mentality, that old school mentality about I'm the best, I'm the top rapper from New York, that's really what we're trying to eradicate with this, with our movement, more than this project. This project is just one of the products of the movement, you know, but our movement is really to be on some communal, we together, we building, we got a bunch of dope, young, talented artists. You know, we're all working together and we just trying to do something great and bring the city back because, like I said, a lot of people, when they hear New York, they think of a certain type of sound, but we're gonna really show these dudes that there's a whole bunch of really dope, talented, young, creative producers, rappers, writers, all out here making some fire.
Yeah, and the stigma in terms of New York sound being boom bap and then, you know, shit like that. Granted, it's a part of New York. That's a part of us and our history and hip hop culture and everything like that. But with everything, there's a change and a shift. That's with time. And people gotta understand there's a lot of dope producers in New York City that are always creating. You being one of them, and your sound is more universal, like, but they gonna see with this collab,
Yep.
y'all gonna see what the vibe is, man. Can't categorize it. I say that much.
Alright, so let me ask you this. If you were to pull in an artist on your project right now, who would it be?
I'm gonna
Be mainstream, it could be
I'm gonna be
underground.
straight up stereotypical. I'm from Brooklyn. I gotta say Jay-Z. That's it. You know what I mean? To me, I think Jay is one of the greatest rappers walking, you know, the earth right now, and I would definitely love. Hopefully, he watches this. You know what I mean? Jay, holla at me, man.
Me, it would have to be Elton John, and I know that's very weird.
Nah, it's not weird.
But I mean, you
That's
know, I grew up listening to a lot of different music, man, and being around that, being a fan of instrumentation, and Elton John being a musician, and you know, being in the art of musicianship, like that just stuck with me. I love music with instruments. I love hearing that shit. You know what I mean? It does something to me. It brings the best out of me when I can get on the record and it has lots of instruments on it. So if I could work with anybody, it would have to be him, man. Like, he's a genius.
Facts.
A genius.
Facts.
So, yeah. Yeah, Mr. Elton John. Let's see.
Holla at us.
Yeah. I need to do like my rendition of Rocket Man. I have to. Gotta do it.
Alright, till you have it. No label, no cosign.